A paving project for one of Scottsbluff County's more utilized secondary roads is green-lit for later this year. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, a mill and overlay project for Highland Road east from Highway 26 intersection will happen later this year, but not without some help from county road crews. Scottsbluff County Road Superintendent Steve Baird told the commissioners this week that only one bid for the project was received, that being from Simon Contractors, but at nearly $1.1 million, it was well over the engineer's estimate and budgeted amounts. However, he did recommend approval of an amended bid that came about only after some negotiations.
Baker and myself talked with Steve Spetbeck. The Simons did some negotiating on their bid, and we're going to have to be a little more involved with the project. We're going to be in charge of traffic control and flagging and a little more involved with yeah, so bring the bid down to $856,000.
During discussions with commissioners, Baird noted that the other option to bring down the price was to shorten the length of the improvements by a little less than half a mile, but that change was not the better option. The board approved the amended contract bid on a vote of 4-0, and the 3-week project is now slated to begin in early April. Well, Scottsbluff County is now officially seeking applications from those with the needed credentials interested in becoming the next county assessor. Scottsbluff County Management Accountant Lisa Ryan brought up the issue during Tuesday's commissioners' meeting, saying now was the right time for the board to try to fill the position, which would be up for election in 2 years.
Angela Dillon did resign as the assessor, and in the meantime, we've had Robert Simpson come on October 2nd to be our office manager. I guess we're at a point now where we can probably post the job for interim assessor. We did this before when Amy Ramos resigned, and so the person would be basically interim assessor until they can put their name on the ballot to be elected.
However, those interested in seeking appointment to the position have a short window to apply, as the deadline is February 28th. Applications will be vetted by a committee including 2 board members, and a recommendation is anticipated to be considered by the full board during their first meeting in March. We'll have more news right after this.
The journey of a dream becoming reality. When we're young, a dream develops into a passion. That passion continues to manifest and grows as you do. It becomes all you want to do and all you want to be. It gives you direction. It drives you. Then your dream has become a reality. When that dream is ready to be reality, Platte Valley Bank will be with you every step of the way.
Life Care promises us that we are looked after and taken care of properly.
If I didn't have Life Care, I would be probably scared to death about having enough money for when I got older or when I got sick.
Moving in here was an easy decision and in fact a no-brainer. I looked at it as actually buying long-term care insurance, and in retrospect, a good move.
One of the things that convinces me that we did the right thing is no matter what happens, we will constantly be taken care of.
The whole thing is just vital because you don't have to be worried about what's ahead for you. It's there, it's in black and white, and that's reassuring.
This is home. It has been from the day I moved in.
Welcome back. Court proceedings have been continued for a Terrytown woman accused of drug distribution. In November, police stopped 55-year-old Tina Sanchez for failure to use a turn signal, and K-9 Duke was called in and alerted the officers to drugs in the vehicle. Police found 10.8 grams of suspected methamphetamine, a glass pipe with residue, and a digital scale. She's currently facing felony charges of possession of meth 10 to 27 grams and no drug tax stamp. However, this month her district court pretrial hearing was pushed back until April 10th. Well, exciting news at Scottsbluff City Hall as it has a new Parks and Recreation Director. Earlier this month, City Manager Kevin Spencer announced that Matthew Carpenter has been hired on to lead that department. Carpenter replaces Rick Deeds, who spent decades with the city in the Parks Department. Prior to coming to the city of Scottsbluff, Matthew was the director of the Carpenter Center in Terrytown. And residents and officials in the state of Wyoming are mourning following the word of a single vehicle crash in Colorado that claimed the lives of 3 members of the University of Wyoming swim and dive team. In a news release from the university, the crash happened yesterday afternoon on Highway 287, about 10 miles south of the Wyoming-Colorado border. 2 other members of the men's swimming and diving team suffered what were believed to have been non-life-threatening injuries, where, according to Colorado State Patrol, the driver swerved and the vehicle went off the road, rolling multiple times. UW officials say the names of those involved are being held pending notification of next in kin, and the accident investigation is ongoing.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
Logos in Gearing is the place to get all of your school spirit gear, personalized gifts, and promotional items for your business and employees and banners for any special event. Logos is also the only place to stop for custom screen printing or embroidery. You can even design it yourself on their interactive website. Stop into Logos today. They'll design it, print it, and have it to you in no time. There's no job too big or small for Logos. That's Logos in Gearing.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the Scottsbluff Body and Paint Ag Desk. Scottsbluff Body and Paint, you're driving home a reputation.
There is plenty of fun to be had at events like the Cattle Industry Convention, but there's also a lot of work to be done. Leaders of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, the Beef Checkoff, and others spent time this past week deliberating the future direction for their respective organizations. The Nebraska cattlemen were well represented within meetings for NCBA. In particular, the organization focused on policy decisions. We learn more now with Laura Field. She's Executive Vice President of the Nebraska Cattlemen.
Let's talk about some of the activities from the Nebraska perspective down here as part of the NCBA policy discussions. Big picture, what's happening?
Yeah, you know, this is such an important meeting for cattle producers across the country. It's a great time to come together, meet up with people that you know, really see the people from your own state come together and talk about policy and things that are important. We'll spend the next couple days in all the policy committees hearing about the important agendas for all those committees and where they're going to go and what we can do to help keep cattle production profitable and working well with as few hurdles as possible. So we're starting off this morning with an issues update from the DC office, and so I'm excited to hear what they've got going on. And then we'll jump right into policy meetings this afternoon and start talking about the key issues.
Nebraska has a big seat at the table in terms of leadership. You've got several members that are chairing some of the committees, right?
Yeah, we do. We've got 4 of the committees that have Nebraska leadership on them. Jacqueline Wilson's with the International Trade Committee. Ken Hers is with Animal and Food Policy. Mike Drennan with Live Cattle Marketing. And then Barb Cooksley's on the Property Rights, Environmental Management. And probably, you know, seeing that leadership in those committees is such a good thing for us to have. We always know what's going on. They're good at giving us information, and they engage us in there. And we're also really excited and honored this year to see Buck Wehrbein be going up the leadership chain, and he'll be the new president after convention. So it's going to be a good year for Nebraska.
So NCBA touts grassroots advocacy efforts and policy. I want to learn how that that works exactly, but I suppose that starts within the Nebraska Cattlemen structure and works its way here. So talk about how you all vote on things here at the national level and how that begins locally back in Nebraska.
Yeah, it all starts at home. You know, we have our annual convention every December, and that's where our membership, the voting on the policy is open to all the membership. So we have our own policy committees. We've got 6 at Nebraska Cattlemen. Those committees will sort through the issues under their headlines, and then they'll pass those issues out to the full membership. Once that policy is adopted, that's what we live by to come here. So when we get to NCBA and there's a policy resolution that comes forward here, we fall back on what our policy says in Nebraska. So sometimes we agree with it, sometimes we don't. We bring it forward if there's a chance to change it. I think it's the most important part of the grassroots process is that people sometimes think the dissension is bad, but unless you're here and you're able to express those opinions or you're bringing those opinions for your state, nothing's really going to get done. So it's a time to come and find common ground, but also to disagree and stand up for what you think.
On the policy front, any particular issues that are going to be discussed this week that you think Nebraska producers should know about?
Yeah, you know, there's been a lot of talk, people have probably seen, on the notion of electronic identification and disease traceability. It's something that Nebraska Cattlemen has been talking about for over 20 years. I keep saying 20 years, but really it's been on our policy books for a long time. We've always supported animal identification for disease traceability purposes. There's some movement on some rulemaking happening in DC, and one of the things that's important in that discussion is us being able to work with our congressional delegation to make sure that those programs are funded so that the costs don't fall totally back on the producers. I think that issue is going to get a lot of discussion while we're here. I know there are some policies out there with some of the federal disaster programs, which is a huge thing for Nebraska, especially with the winter weather we've had. We had heat this summer, so there's some discussion on some of the risk management programs and those type of things that are going to come up in committee. So, and then I'm always surprised because something will come up that I wasn't planning for. So I'm looking forward to those. But I think those are really a couple of issues that are ones that we're tuned into really close.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
Let's take a peek at your weekend community calendar brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, members from Nebraska's congressional delegation are beaming following a decision by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's final rule granting the request made by 8 Midwestern states to allow year-round access to E15. The states include Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, Ohio, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. Those 8 Midwest governors originally requested year-round E15 sales from the EPA back in 2022, including then Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts. Various delays in the approval process eventually resulted in Nebraska Attorney General Mike Hilgers suing the EPA last year. The EPA published the final rule this week, effectively clearing the last hurdle on the long-awaited change. Well, that is it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.